Okay, so the reviews are in, but this is the first time I've been able to click on the audience score. At the moment, it's 94% with the 94% fresh with the critics and 31% definitely not fresh with the audience. So it's only been the first two episodes, so there is room for improvement, many people will say. But let's take a look at the ratings of the audience just to see what they are looking at. This is Stephen C. I was excited about the new Doctor Who and intrigued with the new companion, but the writing on this episode was dull and trite. I was hoping the show was perhaps just having trouble finding its footing, but the second episode was even worse than this one, something I didn't think was possible. Dean P. Was hoping things would improve and get back on track under RTD, but instead the show is just spiraling down into the abyss. Meh. Space Babies was just really cringe. The second episode was better, though it could not really be worse, but these two episodes mean I'm now noping out. I'm done. It's not noping out, maybe that means hopping out, I don't know. This one, the fact this was made by the same guy that led the excellent Tennant run is really confusing. This is nowhere near as good as it feels like the end of Doctor Who. Initial excitement because Russell T Davies was back quickly turned into disappointment. The 20 teens and 20s where old franchises go to die. Well, I mean, I think I was listening to Disparu a little while ago, and I think he had something very interesting to say about it. That basically RTD now has free reign to do whatever he wanted. When the show came back, when he brought the show back, I think there was a few constraints on what he could show and what he could do and what he couldn't. But those constraints now I think have gone, so he's more open to doing things that he actually wants to do, and I think. We may be seeing the real Russell T Davies in terms of how he wanted Doctor Who to end up being. So I think this is what we're seeing now. We're seeing the real Russell T Davies rather than a constrained Russell T Davies. Anyway, let's go on for a little bit further. Lewis B says Russell was never too good to openers in my opinion, only really doing great ones with Smith and Jones and Partners in Crime. So Space Babies being the 6 out of 10, it isn't too shocking to me. However, despite the bad CGI mouths and the fart joke, it's a solid episode with some especially standout moments like Ruby making noise to distract the bogeyman, and the Doctor's determination to save life at all costs. Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson both knock it out the park in both episodes, and I'm sure 15 will turn into a fan favourite Doctor in no time. The second episode, The Devil's Call, is much better with great emotion, acting and effects, with Jink Monsoon providing a standout performance as Maestro, being one of the best and most entertaining Who villains in years. I hate to see the show getting review bombed by such stupid reasons as wokeness. Anyone who claims Doctor Who has never had strong political messages leaning heavily on the left generally does not understand the show and likely just remembers being a child and only caring about the monsters and the spectacle. There are many things like the fourth wall breaking jokes that worry me with the possible law implications, but for now I trust it's building the season arc, so I'll save my criticism until I've seen the full series. Yes, Doctor Who has always been political. It's always treaded that political path, but the problem now is it's doing it very overtly. In the past, it did it very subtly as part of the script, as part of the storyline, and it was one of those things where if you knew about it, you knew it. If you didn't know about it, you didn't know it. For many children, it would just go over their heads, but for the adults watching it, they would understand it. This is different. This is explaining it in in monosyllables what what the episode is about, and that's just lazy writing. He's not trying to be subtle. He's not trying to be casual with it, or just to put it in a way that works. Even though it's a good episode, it's also got a message. He doesn't seem to be doing that. He just seems to be putting these things in without any real thought to the storyline. Anyway, Sava B. I was incredibly excited to shoot his interpretation of the Doctor, especially after enjoying his work on sex education. However, my anticipation quickly turned to disappointment as I watched the episode unfold. The writing fell flat, leaving me wondering what happened to Russell T Davies's once strong storytelling abilities. Even potential in characters like Jinx seemed wasted, overshadowed by the poor writing. Compared to this RTD's earlier Doctor Who episodes, there's a stark difference in quality and vision. Back then, there was a clear mission to deliver compelling stories and put unique twists on established characters. Now the Doctor feels unrecognisable, and it's hard to invest in the narrative. Minnie's character stood out, but even she couldn't escape the weight of the subpar writing and the mismatch with RTD's new version of the Doctor. It's a disservice to Ncuti, and the entire cast, who deserve better material to showcase their talents. I could go on. There's one there. There's a 5-star there from Angela W. Nikki M. These are great episodes, a fresher breath there. They revitalise my love of Doctor Who. Dave C. Ncuti and Millie Gibson could be a fun pair, but due to poor mishandling of Russell T Davies, I doubt it. There's lots of reviews that have decent scores, but there's also quite a few that haven't. Yawn, lazy writing, lots of filler and no substance. I once loved Doctor Who, now it's aimed at preschool children and it's sad. It's difficult to oh, this one's from a trans woman. As a trans woman, I wanted to give this a good score, but I'm not really into sci-fi, never have been. I watched out of LGBTQIA plus solidarity. Sadly, even that isn't enough to overcome the poor and cheesy effects, nonsensical story, and terrible hacky acting. They're going to have to do better, because I know guilting the trans and queer community into watching isn't sustainable, especially if I'm done after 2 episodes. And this is the point. Like this particular person doesn't have a real affinity with sci-fi. They're not a sci-fi lover. They are watching it purely because it's aimed at the LGBTQIA plus community, but they don't really like sci-fi, and then also not liking the story and things like that. So even they are understanding, people in this community are understanding that this is not good writing. I mean, you can't get much better, you can't get much more understanding than that. I don't think we've seen the very best of the crew just yet, but what they're showing is very good and promising, interesting characters. I look forward to seeing more. This is just some of the reviews that we've had so far. There's so many on here that the vast majority of them, as I say, is 31%. So it's not good for the first 2 episodes. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought. If you saw the episode, what did you think of it? Do you agree with these reviews, or do you think that actually it was a lot better or a lot worse than these opinions give? Let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe for more news, pop culture news in the future.